Did the Ethereum Foundation just rug everyone? Today we're going to be taking a deep dive into it and seeing what happened. But before we get to that, we are first going to go check out the price of everything on CoinMarketCap. Take a look at this. Nothing's really changed too much. As you can see right now, everything's pretty much in its place that it's been throughout kind of this bear market, blah, blah, blah. Nothing's really changed too much. On to the next thing. Let's check out the prices. Let's go. Bitcoin right now, the market's just opened. It is about 9:54 a.m. where I'm at here in the east coast of the U.S. Bitcoin sitting around 27K, and as you can see, in the market opened, it's, Bitcoin and crypto trades 24/7, but also when the stock market opens, the macro affects it. So you know what I'm saying. Bitcoin's down almost 2.2%. Ethereum's down almost 3%. Let's check out the S&P 500. The S&P 500's down a little bit on the day. We can see the Dow Jones is down a little bit on the day. The Nasdaq's down a little bit of the day. Let's take a look at the dollar. The dollar is up a little bit today. Let's check out our precious metals. Our metals are doing decent. Metals are up. As you can see, gold had a pretty big pump the other day. So pretty interesting stuff. And now to our first story of the day. Take a look at this from Dylan LeClaire, the GOAT. Just 11.69% of the Bitcoin circulating supply has changed hands over the last 3 months, an all-time low. So this has never happened for Bitcoin before. And as he says, supply is historically constrained and in the hands of a long-term oriented holder base. All that's needed is a macro catalyst spark. And take a look at this chart from Dylan LeClaire showing off the Bitcoin HODL waves. As you can see, this metric is continuing to go down. And now what is an actual HODL wave? We're going to go straight to Glassnode to talk about what a HODL wave is. So as it says here, HODL waves present a macro view of the age distribution of the coin supply and provides insight into changes to this age distribution arising from holding and spending behavior. And as you can see, HODL waves can generally be considered within the following framework. Thickness of HODL wave band represents the proportion of the total coin supply that is categorized into that age band. And then also showing the spending of old coins, accumulation and hodling, spending young coins, and the maturation of young coins as well. So that's our first chart. And then to our next chart from Dylan LeClaire, as it says here, 94.8% of supply did not budge over the last month, the highest reading in history. Only a small amount of flows are needed to absolutely send this thing. And as you can see right here, it's showing in these HODL waves that people are not moving their coins. They're not at all. And as he says down here, also he talks about, well, what's holding, the price of Bitcoin back? Why are people not buying in? We know Michael Saylor's been buying. But besides that, it's really just been, retail that's been buying. It's not been institutions. It's been retail that's just been buying in and holding their coins. And this is a typical theme you see with Bitcoin where people are just holding their coins and they're not willing to sell. And of course, that's because there's a 21 million cap supply. So people want to get their coins. They don't want to sell. And yeah, this is pretty bullish on a long-term time frame. This is not going to affect anything in the short term, but long-term, this is very bullish, and you're going to see this probably take effect when the bull market pops off and the halving happens and all that good stuff. But to our next story, take a look at this. Let's take a look at what the OpenAI and ChatGPT CEO Sam Altman says about Bitcoin. I've not seen this clip, so it's going to be a new clip for me and you. So
I'm excited about it for the same reasons. I'm excited about Bitcoin too. But I think this idea that we have a global currency that is outside of the control of any government is a super logical and important step on the tech tree.
Yeah, agreed. Why should the government control currency? The government should be dealing with all the pressing environmental, social, infrastructure issues, foreign policy issues, economic issues, the things that we need to be governed in order to have a peaceful and prosperous society that's equal and equitable.
I'm excited.
And I really like this take from Sam and Joe here. This is why Bitcoin is so important, is because it's outside of the government's reach. Of course, the governments can't affect it, but at the end of the day, they cannot shut it down. That's the reality of the situation. And once again, I think a lot of people forget that politicians are supposed to be public servants, and they've kind of turned into like celebrities, where people worship them, when their job is supposed to be helping the people and solely dedicating their lives to the people, kind of like a priest dedicates his life to the church. Their job is supposed to dedicate to the country. Unfortunately, we've seen it's kind of gone in the other way where they're doing insider trading, which we're going to talk about later with the war stocks. It's kind of crazy. And to our next story, take a look at this. U.S. Treasury Secretary Yellen, the U.S. is likely to take steps to enforce $60 a barrel oil. I don't know how that's going to be done, but interesting. And in our next story, take a look at this. Nearly 1,500 small businesses filed for Subchapter 5 bankruptcy through September 28th. Nearly as many as in all of 2022. And this is an effect of the high interest rates. And this is Jerome just putting people back in their place. I don't know exactly what type of small businesses these are, but you know, when interest rates get high, at the end of the day, it's just knocking out the people who don't actually provide value to the economy and that we're just running on the funny money. So it is, there's a lot of, you know, debates on whether high interest rates are good or not. But I think, you know, I think high interest rates for a little while is not a bad thing. I think it just wipes out everyone who's a bullshitter. And I think they will, obviously, they're going to have to. They don't actually really have a choice. They're going to have to, you know, pull interest rates down at some point. But I think it's good they're having a bit of a wipeout right now. And then take a look at this. Banks were exposed to an estimated $558.4 billion of unrealized losses in the second quarter on underwater securities, up 8.4% from the quarter before. We saw a bunch of banks fail this year. We saw Silicon Valley Bank fail. We saw Credit Suisse go down. That was huge. And banks, some of these banks are not looking too good. And this is exactly, you know, the whole thing. They're going to have to lower interest rates or else the whole system is going to go underwater, you know, and they're not going to allow that to happen. And then take a look at this. Another stat about banks from Unusual Whales. 50% of large and mid-sized banks are imposing tougher criteria for commercial and industrial loans. That's the highest share since the 2008 financial crisis. And yeah, that's what it is. We are in a, you know, a rough patch, but that's kind of the best part about this whole thing is that when things start going up, everyone who owns assets and everything is just going to go up and the wealth gap is going to separate. But now everyone, especially if you're young, you have a chance to get in. The millionaires were created in 2008 and 2009. You know, in 2021, if you're buying in, you're basically you were just exit liquidity. Now is the time to get in. Next story. Take a look at this. Rising interest rates means the cost of U.S. debt will hit a new peak by 2025, Goldman Sachs has said. Well, I mean, I think the whole U.S. debt thing is kind of a meme. We know how it works with the debt ceiling. They just continue to rise. They continue to raise it. Doesn't really matter what they do with it. And then take a look at this story. This is huge. Congress has been buying war stocks. Many bought defense companies, GD, General Dynamics. Numerous Republicans bought heavy into oil plus energy companies with buys in XOM, DVN, CVX. And Democrats bought cybersecurity like FTNT. These companies lobby Congress heavily. Take a look at this. Proof is in the pudding. You can see all the buys. Screenshot number 1. Screenshot number 2. Screenshot number 3. Screenshot number 4. Now, I think it's pretty interesting because everyone knows this. Well, not everyone knows this, but war is extremely profitable. That's why the U.S. gets its hands in everything. Because when there's a lot of conflict, especially conflict in the Middle East, the U.S.'s dominance actually goes up. And guess who gets a payday out of this whole thing? The boys at Lockheed Martin and more. And they're all lobbying Congress. And at the end of the day, these politicians, they're not over there fighting. They don't, and it's kind of the truth. It's a sad reality. They don't really give a shit. They're getting a big payday. They don't give a fuck. They're going to Lockheed Martin, dapping the boys up. Like, hey, we're about to get paid today. And we're not even doing anything. We're just making the calls. It's a sad reality situation. As it says down here by Unusual Whales, this happened before the Ukrainian war as well. In this case, for example, Michael Guest bought up to 15,000 of XOM in August. Numerous other politicians such as Hearn and Whitman have as well. It's absolutely ridiculous, and I think anyone who's a politician should be banned from trading stocks. I don't even understand how this is not controversial. These people are supposed to be serving the people. They're not supposed to be fucking using this as literal exit liquidity. I mean, this is like the highest form of exit liquidity. They're literally sending people off to die, and they're making money off of that. It's ridiculous. And you know what the sad thing is? In our little sphere of crypto and macro and all this thing, this is like a big deal. Like, oh, but this is not reaching the everyday person. Everyday people don't fucking know this. They think it's legit. It's like, bro, this is a whole fucking scheme that's going on. Absolutely ridiculous. Politicians need to be banned from trading stocks. And they do it all the time with other shit too. They do it with the NVIDIA chips and all this other stuff. So it's ridiculous. And to our next story, take a look at this. Solana's V1.16 update has just introduced confidential transfers, enhancing user privacy through encrypted SPL token transactions. This update also strengthens Solana's zero-knowledge proofs and reduces validator hardware requirements. I think a lot of people are sleeping on Solana. There was a lot of selling pressure and a lot of bad stuff done to it that was kind of out of its control with FTX and all that. Solana going to $8 was absolutely ridiculous. And if you think about it, if you take a look at Solana DeFi, the overall TVL in Solana has gone down like basically every other coin because we're in a fucking bear market. But if you take a look at Solana DeFi has been on fire. The ecosystem, the apps being built on Solana have been growing in this bear market, and there's still a community behind it. And at the end of the day, yeah, the Solana blockchain, yeah, it's not the greatest ever. You know, we know it got hacked a bunch of times, but they have the marketing firepower, they have the ecosystem, the blockchain is getting better. You know, they recently made a partnership with Visa and more. And of course, yeah, you could say, oh, the partnership's just a marketing scheme. Who gives a shit? It doesn't matter. A normal person looks at that headline on Watch Your Guru saying Salon has made a partnership with Visa. They're not looking at it saying, oh, that's a scheme. They're saying, wow. You know, a lot of you guys are really, there's a big problem with some cryptocurrencies where they're just middle curving it. Nobody really gives a shit about the tech. You know, some people care a lot, you know, us crypto people, I care about the tech. Crypto people care about the tech. The guy on the street does not care about the tech. They don't give a fuck about the blockchain. They want to know it's going to go up. And when they see that headline from Solana saying they partner with Visa, bingo. They're thinking, oh shit, that's huge. We know it's probably just a scheme. They do this all the time. AVAX partners with Amazon. Doesn't mean shit. It's just a marketing campaign. But that's what they want. That's why I'm bullish on Solana. They got a community, robust ecosystem. A lot of big influencers are talking about it. We'll see what happens. A lot of people say, oh, Solana's dead, Solana's dead. I do not think so. They say the same thing about Cardano, too. In Cardano, they say, oh, look at the TVL in Cardano. Cardano pumped in 2017, made a lot of people money, made a lot of people money in 2021. There's not shit going on in Cardano. I own no Cardano. It's a shit coin. The chain's shit, too. But at the end of the day, they have a big fucking cult following in Guru, so it's probably going to make people money. That's just my whole take on the whole thing. When it comes to making money on crypto, I feel like you shouldn't have the approach of what's the actual best technology, and you should have the approach of what are the people talking about, what are the people going to buy into, what are the strong narratives that are going to sell the people who aren't fucking nerds like us. Next story, take a look at this. The ETH supply has grown by $47 million in 30 days. Interesting. And now let's get to, I'm about to go on another rant again, but take a look at this. The Ethereum Foundation has just sold 1.7k ETH, or about $3 million for USDC, which is a stablecoin US dollar. And you can see it on the chain from Ethereum Foundation to Uniswap Universal Router. They did their little swap. And what is my opinion on this? Well, let's take a look at what Mike Alfred first had to say. I don't know if he was saying this in response to this, but he put out a tweet today about Ethereum saying this. Ethereum looks sick. The world computer and ultrasound money narratives have failed. DeFi and NFTs have largely been abandoned. Vitalik and other insiders are looting the protocol, and transactions are easily censored by the government. It's a disaster. Today I'm selling my ETH. And here's why I think this is a bunch of bullshit. Bitcoin, first of all, take Bitcoin out of the equation. Bitcoin's not like any other cryptocurrency. There's nothing like it. The Ethereum Foundation and every single foundation crypto sells their own tokens in order to keep the business going. And the Ethereum Foundation has been doing this every single cycle. Every single cycle at the market top, the Ethereum Foundation fucking sells. Same with every other foundation. That's how you run a business. People gotta fucking eat, bruh. Like, I don't understand that. And second of all, $3 million is goddamn nothing. Like, it's really nothing compared to what the foundation actually could liquidate. And they've liquidated a lot more. I mean, I think they've done like 100 mil plus before just selling off ETH. And that's just how a business fucking works, okay? And then there's also this other take from Mike talking about how nobody's using DeFi. Yeah, nobody uses the fucking Lightning Network either. Like, the fuck, bro? We're in a bear market. This is what it is. It's really, how big is crypto right now? How big is crypto really? Like, really, not just talking about people who have coins in their fucking wallets or whatever. People actually using protocols. It's very, very small. And do you know why? Because the price has been down. That's why. You're going to see when the price goes up again and Bitcoin goes bonkers and crypto goes bonkers, you're going to see the activity in DeFi is going to go through the roof as well. That's how it works. Now, my opinion on NFTs is this. I do think they're going to be I think there's going to be some winners that come out of the NFT space. I don't think all NFTs are dead. There's going to be some projects that make it. Are a lot of them going to fail? Yeah, of course. It's like Beanie Babies. Yeah, most of the NFT projects are going to fail. Most of them are exit liquidity scams. But there's going to be a couple of them that make it. And it's a bad take. And of course, once again, the Ethereum blockchain is not a good blockchain. It sucks. That's why there's a ton of L2s built on it. And also saying it's easily censored by governments, we know this shit. Come on. Like, really? Like, we know this already. And I don't think, and once again, it's like, why do I own Ethereum? Well, there's a lot of liquidity, and they got a lot of users, and they have a good narrative, and people know about it. You know, go out on the street and actually talk to some normal people, not the fuckers on Twitter. The first crypto, everyone knows Bitcoin, but the second one everyone knows is Ethereum. That's the truth. Actually, I would take that back. Dogecoin. Dogecoin actually might be a little more popular than Ethereum. Probably is. But Ethereum's in the top 3, okay? There's liquidity, there's users, people know about it, and at the end of the day, that's going to put the number up. That's going to make the number go up. Ethereum could be the IBM of the space. It could be the fucking Intel. It could be whatever. Might not be here. People might not be using it 10 years from now. But that's just my opinion on the whole situation. You got to keep the bus moving. You got to sell that Ethereum Foundation. You got to do what you got to do. That is what it is. And that, guys, that about wraps up this video. If you like this video, make sure to subscribe, like the video, leave a comment. Let me know your thoughts on this whole situation. Make sure to go follow me on Twitter. And yeah, thank you for watching.